Good morning, Utah Golf Radio, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah. Powered by the T-Box, coming to you in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. I am Paul Pugmire, your host and the executive director, the president. Gosh, they changed my title 2 years ago. I still am saying it wrong.
That's okay.
The president of First Tee Utah. And we are in the studio this morning. We're in the mothership, beautiful downtown studios of ESPN 700. And sitting across the table from Jan Brownstein. Jan, good morning. Jan, you are failing at your job. I put you in charge of the weather, and I drove through snow this morning. What's up with that?
You know what? I slept. I fell asleep. When I fall asleep really hard, it snows.
Okay, well, don't do that.
Yeah, I normally don't. I mean, I only require 4 hours of sleep.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, good.
Good to know.
Awfully glad to have you.
Well, we're in this warm studio. We're in the home, we're in the
we're in the
mothership.
We're in the mothership.
So I'm fine here.
That is good. All right. This first hour of the show is brought to us by Salt Lake City Golf, slcgolf.com, or the Salt Lake City Golf app. You can be watching the app for when they announce that they open back up. All the Salt Lake City golf courses are closed right now. Stupid snow. But I was talking with Kelsey Chugg of the Salt Lake City Golf Division yesterday, and she said that she expects they will open a little bit in the next week or two. Watch the website, watch the app to know what's going on there. We are joined this morning by one of the greats of the Utah professional game and a dear friend. Awfully glad to have with us this morning Henry White. Henry, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Glad to be here. You're very kind.
So, Mom tried to teach me to be kind, and some days it works better than others. But the reality is, Henry, I say that because of your record, and because of what you do and what you mean to the Utah game. Look, folks, there are 3 people in the history of the Utah Section PGA. There are 3 people among Utah golf professionals who have won Player of the Year and Teacher of the Year in the same year. And in 2003, Henry White, that was you.
It was.
He's not going to deny it. He will not deny it.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, it was a good year.
A good year. That would qualify as a good year. I suppose that's correct. Now you got me thinking about it. We're getting to we're sneaking up on when the section awards banquet, the annual meeting and the awards banquet will take place here in 3 weeks, something like that.
12th.
Yeah, the 12th of February.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so anyway, and so I was thinking about this driving in this morning. What was that awards banquet like for you in 2023? Was this like when a movie wins 11 Academy Awards and they just keep calling you up and keep calling you up?
No. It was nice. It was nice. Probably the highlight though was the Professional of the Year. I had my mother there. That she was in her 90s, and she was very proud of me. So that was the best part.
That is nice.
That was.
Yeah. That is really cool. Yeah. That is really cool. Henry White, of course, as most all of you out there know, Henry is, in addition to being a practicing golf professional and playing in the tournaments, teaching and having that, you also, of course, are a physical therapist. Mid-career, went back to school and got your PT degree and work with John Rhodes, one of the really strong amateur players in the state.
Very good amateur.
Yeah, he's a stick. And you work with him as a physical therapist. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you in here, because, Henry, you are uniquely qualified to understand about the way the body functions, or in my case doesn't, within the golf swing. And all of the biomechanics and what people need to do to get ready to play golf, to do it better with their engine that they have. And, look, we love equipment. We geek out over golf equipment. But the reality is the thing that you use on every shot is your body.
It's true. It's actually true.
And so this is important equipment to have in good shape, right?
Yeah, sometimes that can be depressing.
Don't I know it? Don't I know it?
So Henry,
it is.
When Paul says you did it later in life, did your golf game or your physicality, because of your golf game, did that incentivize you to go back?
Yeah, I went back to physical therapy school with something in mind. I wanted to, come out of it and do, part of it, golf fitness. I see a lot of people that aren't golfers, but I've yet to see a golfer that didn't have problems.
Wait, there are people out there who aren't golfers? Oh, well.
Yeah, a few.
Oh, okay. Okay, but you say every golfer has a problem. What's on your mind when you say that?
I used to do screens for a fitness institute, and there was all the people that I screened. There was one person that had never had back pain.
Oh,
and he had never played any sports, and hadn't done
That'll do
any,
it.
you know what I mean? So if you're really into sports, or you play and you do different things, guess what? There are going to be owies. And your body remembers, and you just need to address that, so that you can be as pain-free as you can be.
it is very much a part of the golf landscape now. The Titleist Performance Institute comes to mind immediately. Yeah. There are so many people who seem to make a living posting stuff on Instagram about golf fitness. But you were an early adapter. When you went back to PT school, this was not the norm. You were thinking way in front of the headlights here. What do you attribute that to?
I'd had problems. I'd had back pain and some good friends. One good friend was a physical therapist and kind of introduced me into that world. But it was interesting. I went back to school in 94, graduated in 96 up at the U, and it was funny. In 94, Jeff Beaudry, he was the executive director of the PGA, and he's going, "You're what? You're going to do what?" This is craziness.
Yeah.
And what's funny is in 96,
Tiger Woods.
Guess who hit the scene.
So
all of a sudden, it just turned everything on its head, and it was like, oh, not a bad decision.
It kind of worked out.
That's awesome.
So
That's a great story.
Yeah, that is a great story. But Tiger. Now, granted, Tiger is Tiger. Tiger is one of one, by every measure, and yet, even though he's attributed often, I think, with being the one who to turn attention to the connection between fitness and training, physical training, and the golf game. Gary Player predates him by decades, and Gary Player's
You're exactly right. Jack LaLanne of
Can we
golf.
also?
I love Jack LaLanne. I
we
did
all
Jack
say-
LaLanne with my grandparents.
But
yeah.
I meant, he was the Jack LaLanne of golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, for
and,
sure.
And look at him still.
Yeah.
Can we say it?
Yeah.
It's all in the core. It's in the core. It's in the core.
Okay.
Yeah, as he
Okay.
thumps
As he's
himself.
thumping
Yes, he
himself.
thumbs. I was thumping.
And then he drops down and does 50 cents. Yeah. Yeah.
No, and but it's interesting, and I've learned that you have to find your motivation somewhere, and usually golfers, they're not motivated to be Jack LaLanne.
Mm-hmm.
They're motivated. Is this going to help me
Yeah.
further?
Does this
Did it
does
better?
this save me a stroke?
How does what is my return on investment?
Exactly.
You know, and
Exactly.
so it's kind of interesting that way, and so you kind of have to motivate it that in that way. And I think youth now, good grief, with college, they're getting paid.
Yep.
These guys are. There is no amateur anymore.
I wonder what it means. I really do.
Yeah, and so I think because I never stretched or when I was a junior, you just went and played and
Mm-hmm.
kind of warmed up and
warming
smacked it.
up was walking fast from the parking
from the
lot.
parking lot
Yeah.
to the first tee.
And so these kids now, I mean, they're specialized, and I think in some ways to their detriment. They want to be Tiger Woods, and so they start out at 4 doing nothing but golf, where I think the players that do well for the long term are the ones that they played basketball, football, maybe not football, but you know what I mean, soccer, a lot of
other. Yeah, let's pause on
Baseball.
that for a minute.
Yeah.
That's something I feel very strongly about, and we become very aware of it and talk about it in First Tee.
Yeah, exactly.
And First Tee, in our program development with our national organization, has top-notch professionals in a variety of fields, including kinesiologists who help develop our program. And one of the things they talk about is playing other sports. And we mention once in a while I come from a baseball family, and I was raised in a baseball home, and very aware of Cal Ripken Jr. and his program for kids, his program to get kids started in baseball and to help them develop up. Now, he's looking for elite players. He's Cal Ripken Jr., for heaven's sakes. But my point is, Cal Ripken Jr. purposefully, intentionally shuts it down every year and takes these elite young baseball players and says, stop. Quit playing baseball for a period of time and go do other things. Go swim, play lacrosse, play basketball, whatever you do.
Perfect.
Go do other things. And what the research shows and what Cal Ripken Jr. has learned and what he's advocating is it develops other muscles, it develops other movements, it develops other balance points, it develops other ways of seeing and reacting.
Yeah.
It develops the whole body and the whole person better. And you're sitting here nodding, and what are you thinking when I say
exactly that? And but even with an older player, sometimes you have to say, hey, cross train a little bit. You know what I mean? Don't just work on your golfing muscles. Work. Let's make you a solid, balanced person. And guess what? You're going to be a lot happier in whatever you do.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it's pickleball or you know what I mean, or golf, and you know what I mean. So do some things that you enjoy, but also are varied.
It's interesting you mentioned that. One of the top-ranked pickleball players in the nation, Danny Summerhays. And now that I'm speaking of Summerhays, also it comes you talk about balance. Bruce Summerhays, there's a name we've heard, right? Have you? I'm sure you've played with him and played in events where he's been there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed at the start of his round when he's warming up, he's out there making left-handed swings?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's always trying to balance out his body, balance out his stretching, balance out his muscle development.
It's important.
Yeah, it is. Henry, what would you say to our listeners, I guess, to the golfers out there wondering, okay, I like my couch. That's me. It's hard to get into it. But I want to play better golf, and I certainly want to avoid injury. What would you tell people what to do?
Say, pay me now or pay me later. You know what I mean? It's kind of sorry, but you know what I mean? It's and I think that a little bit of knowledge is really good, but I teach too, and it's funny how most of the people that I teach have been on YouTube. And they're lost.
Yeah, and they're lost. And gone down the YouTube rabbit hole.
And I also see that. I mean, there I say, there are more exercises than pills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
You've
how
got more
interesting.
exercise programs.
Oh, how interesting.
And-
Okay, folks,
and-
let's pause on that for a minute, can we? There's more exercises than pills.
You know what
There's
I mean?
more
And-
you can do in advance through moving your body than you can fix by taking a pill later.
but also warning that just because it's an exercise doesn't mean you're taking the right pill.
Okay.
You know, and then
Mhm.
I'll say, hey, here's a big bag of pills. Take the right ones. Well, I don't know. You know what I mean? And that's so if it's a little bit of a guided tour, it helps.
Okay.
And so that's, especially if you have injuries, then it's more physical therapy, you know, that type of a thing, where if it's just want to be fit, hey, a good trainer is right there. And usually what I'll do is I'll get them back going and then send them back to, you know, where they came from. You know what I mean? Because the trainer is you know, he knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. So, you know, you have to get the knowledge from who is trained in whatever malady you have,
Okay.
whatever you have.
I want to go to that. Let me just mention real quick. You mentioned going down the YouTube rabbit hole. There's one place where YouTube is not a rabbit hole. If you want to watch a live stream of our show today, it is on ESPN 700 Sports on the YouTube channel, ESPN 700 Sports. We are live streaming on YouTube on the ESPN 700 YouTube channel today. Okay, let's go back to what you were saying there, Henry. What would you recommend the right exercises to be?
I think, you know, you want to have cardio, you want to have stretching, you want to have some strengthening, those areas. And part of the strength, I guess, is balance and, you know, fast twitch type of things. So I try to get in all those areas where, because as we age, as we, you know, get older, we start to slow down, weaken. I think that, you know, just so it's a well-rounded program. I think sometimes people get also on weight loss, and boy, you have to be really careful that way, that you're not losing muscle mass, and that can be a problem too. So, you know, when you're doing that, hey, get some help. You know, get some guidance. So you know.
You guys do some of this at Rhodes Physical Therapy. You have a golf assessment on your website that people can sign up for. Tell us about that.
I have kind of what I do, and then John, he's deep into TPI.
John is a bit of a geek.
He is a geek.
I love him
so
for
he
it.
I mean, you know, I did the motion capture stuff, you know, the balance, a long time ago, and now I kind of just I just see it. You know what I mean? I just kind of do it with what I see. He, like I said, if you want to if you want to know exactly where your balance is, balance points, body motion, all that stuff, he's got all the equipment.
That is fun. That is fun.
Yeah.
What's the website for Rhodes? I should know this and I don't.
Boy,
Henry doesn't.
I don't
know.
know. I don't-
are we doing okay?
You think I go
Never
there?
mind.
I'm gonna look it up then.
I'm there.
That's right. Okay, it
Well, so Henry,
is.
do you feel like, I don't know, because you play on the senior circuit, and so do you think that sometimes you might have a slight advantage over other players simply because of your profession and you knowing how the body works and knowing how to fix that little thing that maybe we wouldn't know how to fix?
Maybe, but
Or
I
maybe,
guess it
and
would,
your longevity, you can probably
I think it would be a
attribute
real
to that.
embarrassment
Okay.
if they had to wheel me off the golf course because my low back was hurting.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
So that would be a problem. But I think so. It's funny how I've gone through some different procedures in the last couple of years, and it's been a real challenge. You know, to get, you know, I lost a lot of speed, and you know, it's nice to hit it straight, but dang it, you know,
You want to send it.
You don't want a cashmere insert,
Cashmere insert.
So it's, you want to do that. But I hope it helps.
Yeah, I would think so. I think that the reason you've been able to play for so long is because you know how to do that.
The website is rhodespt.net. So RHODESPT.net. PT stands for physical therapy. I know I should be like Paul time or something. Anyway,
really good.
rhodespt.net. And so there you go. What kind of injuries do you see coming in the door the most?
Just lately, a lot of shoulders and elbows.
Shoulders, okay, that's interesting because Zach Blair has had such problems with his shoulders.
Yeah,
and
elbows.
Elbows.
And it's funny how it's so multifactorial. You know what I mean? There are a lot of factors for that, and I think I learned a lot from a fellow that did a lot of rehab of baseball players, professional baseball players, and they had a program, strengthening the shoulders and stuff like that, until they included everything from the fingers all the way up into into your core. They had a lot of re-injury, and so
by focusing on the shoulder
on
itself,
just the shoulder.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's really important to get the whole upper extremity, get the thoracic, your mid back moving properly, so that if it moves properly, then your shoulder stays in a good neutral position and can, doesn't. But if you stretch back, all of a sudden the muscles and everything else are very tight, and at the end range, they're not as strong.
No, see, this is really interesting because one of the themes that's come out from me that I've learned from you when I visited you as a patient is the interconnectedness of all the different pieces and parts. You might remember 4 or 5 years ago, I injured my shoulder. I had swung at a shot, hit into a branch. The club stopped abruptly, and it hurt my shoulder. And I went to see you, and you started working on other things. And at first, I'm thinking, what's going on here? Come on, Henry, didn't you go to school? And my shoulder hurts.
Yeah.
But you helped me by helping other things around my shoulder. And that's when I really first started paying attention to it. And I'm healed up. I'm fine.
And thank goodness.
Yeah, really, right?
No pressure.
I do want to note that shot I got hurt on, I did hit it on the green.
And, there's a certain sacrifice in the game.
Yeah, there is.
Braveheart.
Made par and played the next hole, and then I had to quit. Because
the throbbing got to you.
Well, and I couldn't lift my arm up at that point either. Anyway, all in the past. That is so interesting. So people are coming to you with shoulders and elbows now. Do you know why that is?
Quite a bit. I mean, you sure low back and the neck stuff, but I don't know if it's their training or if it's it's because they're tighter in their thoracic spine, and you know what I mean, having problems that way, and so they finally stressed it.
Wow.
Enough.
Interesting. One of your colleagues in the Utah section and another senior player who has done well for years and years and continues to do really well is Joe Summerhays.
Yeah.
Joe will be joining us later on the show to talk about a really strong finish that he had down in Florida at a national tournament. But one of the reasons I wanted to get him on, in addition to talking about his solo third finish in the, and now I can't think of the name of the tournament. Anyway, he had a
it was a big one.
It was a big one. Is that Joe has had a really fascinating journey into fitness. He's been very aggressive about it, and then he's backed off a little bit. Well, I want to get you guys talking about that later in the show, so I'm looking forward to you and Joe talking about it. If you were to sum up one thing that we all need to know about our physical fitness as golfers, what would it be?
I think with the warm-up, I think a good warm-up, just any kind of blood flow. I usually, with the warm-ups that I give my clients, I'll always try to get as much blood flowing in the hands, the wrists, the elbows, shoulders, the joints, so that, they can actually make a swing without hurting themselves.
Okay.
So just that warm up, I think, is really important, and something every day. The weekend warrior, that's dangerous. You know what I mean? I see them, have problems.
Interesting. Good points. He's Henry White, one of the great pros here in Utah and a licensed physical therapist, knows what he's talking about here, folks. Pay attention. The website for Rhodes Physical Therapy is rhodespt.net. Jan, we got to do ourselves a little UPod update. The UPod update brought to you by our good friends at Scott Golf. Check them out, scottgolf.com. These Utah clubs are so sweet. I love mine, scottgolf.com. Jan, tell us about the UPots.
All right, well, let's talk about fish. Last week at the Sony Open.
Let's talk about fish.
Fish finished T6 minus 13, 267 on rounds of 65, 65, 68, and 69. And so this was Fish's second tournament in a row, back-to-back, that he was the second-day 36-hole leader.
Yeah, he did so at the RBC at the end of the season as well. And the real news here, folks, is we all are aware of Patrick Fishburne's historical pattern of starting the season slowly. He did it in college, on the Canadian Tour, on the Corn Ferry. His start last year and his rookie year on the PJ Tour was slow. This year, first tournament out of the box, he's got a top 10.
Yep.
Henry, he might have cracked the code here. And if Fish has cracked the code on a slow start, you can look out.
I hope so. He's got so much talent, and there maybe isn't a nicer guy.
There might not be.
I mean, he is just
yeah.
He's a good dude.
I love Patrick Fishburne.
Yeah.
And unfailingly nice.
Yeah.
To
Great
me.
family man.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Yeah. So cool.
That's awesome.
All right, what else?
All right, well, this week they're at the Amex. Tony currently sits T31 minus 9, 135 on rounds of 69 and 66. Zach sits at a really weird place, T122 minus 1, 143 on rounds of 73 and 70. Fish is also at the Amex, T102 minus 3, 141 on rounds of 72 and 69. What's up with this course?
Well, what we need to note is they play 3 courses, and so in order for everybody to get on all 3 courses, there will be no cut until after the 3rd round today. So Fish and Zach still can make the cut, but they're going to have to go low.
What was the cut? What did they?
Well, right now it's hanging around -4. And they've got another day of play. It'll end up at least at 6 down, maybe move to 7. And so
Looked like the weather was awesome.
Weather is awesome. These courses on the desert down there in Palm Springs are in such pristine condition. The balls roll well on the greens. If the wind is down, those courses are largely defenseless, and the guys are tearing it up. All right.
That's awesome. Okay, and so Peter Quest is on the Corn Ferry Tour at the moment. Last week they kicked it off at the Bahamas Golf Classic. He finished T15 minus 11, 269 on rounds of 67, 65, 69, 68. Go, Peter.
Check the box. Top 20 get cards at the end of this Corn Ferry season. A T15 is a good start.
Yep, and then he is going to be playing the Bahamas Great Abaco starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Stanger is going to join him as well.
Yeah, he'll be in that field as well.
So Mike is at the Mitsubishi Championship. He currently sits T34 minus 1, 143 on rounds of 75 and 68.
Very nice.
So our girl Allie Mulhall.
Yeah, let's talk about Allie for a minute.
She is on the Cactus Tour, and she won her very first event on the tour. So she finished +5, 223 on rounds of 76, 70, and 77. This is the first win for Allie.
First win on the Cactus turn for
Mhm.
Allie Mulhall, and that's good stuff. All right. We need to send some love to Peter Kim. We're going to hear from him later in the show. Peter Kim is the Zions Bank Player of the Week, presented by Fairways Magazine. For his second win in a row, he goes back-to-back down in the Southern Swing. He won the Coral Canyon Am, and last week he won the St. George Am. So the first two events on the PPR Southern Swing, Henry, Peter Kim gets the W in both of them. He 23 under par for 72 holes for the two tournaments. He had clean cards in St. George, had a clean card one round in Coral Canyon. He has made one bogey in 72 holes.
Wow.
That'll get you healthy.
Wow.
23 under is never shabby.
No. That works. All right. We got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk with Joe Summerhays. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by the T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network.
So what was the
Is this us? And we're back. Utah Golf Radio, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah, in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. Paul and Jan in studio with you today. We're in the mothership sitting with our good friend Henry White. Henry, it is so good to see you. We're so glad to have you with us here today.
It's good to be here, even though we got to watch the snow.
Yeah, that's Jan's fault.
Yep. Hey, listen,
right.
it's gonna be sunny and not warm, but it'll be sunny a little bit later.
Jan, I'll give you credit when it's good weather.
Yeah. I
Okay.
know.
All right. And Henry, we were talking during the break. You have some news about where you'll be teaching. Tell us about you in Eaglewood.
Yeah, I'm going to be teaching with Brent Schaefer.
Oh, I love Brent Schaefer.
Tyler Abegland.
Good guy, yes.
Yeah, great guy up at Eaglewood.
Uh-huh.
I spent a lot of time up at Eaglewood when Ryan Reese was there.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm back. They're starting some, it's the TrackMan range.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll have like 20-something bays of TrackMan there. And so it should be a pretty good place to teach. And they have also some indoor stuff too.
Very good. So people want to get lessons from Henry White, go to Eaglewood?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right. We are joined now by Joe Summerhays. I think we all know Joe, longtime pro, a horse beast by every measure of being a horse beast. Joe, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone. How's it going?
So good. Joe, thank you for joining us today. Hey, man, you went to Florida and kicked some butt and took some names. Nicely done. The PGA Winter Senior Championships, and you came away. This is a national event. This is a big deal. And you came away with a solo third. You were -8, 277 on rounds of 68, 69, 70, and you were one of only two people in the field that was read every day. Congratulations. Tell us all about it.
Thanks, Paul. Yeah, it was a fun week. A little rusty to start with. I hadn't played in about 3 weeks or so, but so I was kind of just managing my game around, and I had a pretty good putting week, so I was able to get in the mix and had a good chance to win. I just didn't quite finish off as strong as the guys that won it. So, but it was definitely always fun to go to Florida in the winter, and to play well is even a bonus.
I know this is so fun, so great, Joe. So Joe says, yeah, it was fun. You think he was in Florida and making birdies? Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that's really fun.
That's fun. But I also, it was a little rusty. Now wait, you were in the top 3 there, Joe. So you couldn't have been too dang rusty.
Well, it started out with a 68, for goodness sake.
I know.
Yeah, that one, I scored pretty well. It's funny how it doesn't matter how you feel. Sometimes you still score well, but like feeling rusty to me just means like the swing didn't feel in mid-season form. I might have still hit the shots and stuff, but it just wasn't quite clicking. So you can still score well when you're not feeling, 100%.
Sometimes when your expectations are a little lower, sometimes you play smarter. You don't try to
That's right.
knock down the pins yet, and you play a lot smarter and then knock a few putts in.
That's so interesting to hear you guys say that. A couple weeks ago, I saw an interview with Xander Schauffele. He was talking about how he went through a phase in college where he started shanking it during warm-ups on the range, just hosel rockets, and then he would go out and play great. And he said what he came away from that with was that there's no connection between how he hits it warming up and that he has to focus on just warming up, like you were talking earlier, Henry, and just getting his body ready, then go play golf. So
I don't know, shakes are a little scary.
yeah, I can't think of a scenario where that's okay. But anyway,
Which courses did you play, Joe?
I played the Wanamaker.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Yeah, that's where
Port St. Lucie.
PGA Club. Yeah, PGA Club Pro is going to be out there in April or May, 1st of May or end of April, something like that. So it's a good practice round for that. They've redone some of the Wanamaker greens. I played that course bunch of times.
Sure.
I qualified for the PGA at Kiowa when it was there the last time. So
Nice.
kind of excited for that. And I think it's in April. I don't know. I don't even have the dates in front of me. But
Yeah. It is because I think the PGA's in May.
Yeah.
yeah.
The senior PGA. Yeah.
Oh,
No, this would be the regular one.
Yeah, that's right. The regular PGA.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Joe, one of the reasons I wanted to get you on was to get you and Henry talking about your journey in golf fitness. A few years ago, you went at it really hard, and you just got yourself in just Stone Mountain shape. And then you made a comment a little while later, you and I were talking about, and you said, but it doesn't help me get the ball in the hole. And we talked about backing off a little bit. Tell us about your journey. Here we are in winter with the snow falling. We're thinking about getting our bodies ready for the spring. Tell us about your journey in golf fitness.
Yeah, obviously my dad was a huge influence there. He was always taking care of his body and doing some golf-related exercise, which he worked with Henry a lot on that. And I did too. So just, in college, I remember waking up at 5:30 in the morning, doing stretches and working out with Mike Weir, like when we were on the road in college. So I've always thought it's important, an important part of my job to try to give me the best chance to do well. So, when I turn 50, I think it even becomes more important as you get older. And right now it's just, my career is just, I can go longer, right? Like I get a chance to feel like I can keep my distance up until I'm, 60 and beyond. I mean, it's amazing how, if you just keep yourself in shape and all the teaching things and how distance is, so accentuated right now that working out can definitely help with that, but it can hurt with that too, because if you get injured, it can set you back. So that's kind of what I was talking about. But I still work out really hard, and it's for golf, but for fun for me too. And I think that's important for me, I feel good about myself. I feel healthy. My body's almost never felt better. I mean, it's been crazy. I've been doing some more leg and mobility, working out with not just stretching, but mobility. And that's what helped me so much to get some more flexibility in my hips and things by doing just some leg work and stretching at the same time. What's that called, Henry? You're working on stretching as you're doing an exercise.
You got me.
Yeah,
I've just had a senior moment.
Yeah, it's just you're not just stretching. You're doing.
No,
weight,
I understand.
Yeah.
Is it plyometrics or?
No, just mobility
through a full range. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that's interesting here, Joe, and unless you're following on the live feed on ESPN 700's YouTube, which folks, please go do that if you want. Henry's over here nodding while you're talking. Henry, what goes through your mind when you hear Joe describe this?
No, I mean he's done his homework. He's done it right. And one thing that I will give Bruce and Joe, I mean, they eat right too. They're really careful. That's one of my weaknesses. I'll have my burger, and but they're very careful that way, and that's as you age, that's a big factor too. But I think that's nice to hear that it's you're finding the right mix, that's giving you that longevity and that pain-free effort.
Yeah,
awesome. And I think also you get there's an emotional, psychological huge factor of, hey, I'm doing it right. I have an edge over people that aren't, and I'm giving it my very best.
I like that. Joe, one of the things I've noticed about you as I've watched you play in the last few years, obviously you swing the club beautifully. we know that, and you don't accomplish the things you do without swinging the club well. But I have noticed that you move like a young man away from the ball, walking, bending over to mark the ball, just regular, everyday movements. You move like a young guy.
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts on that. Is that something you come from? We know you've got great genetics. Good on you. But is that something you work toward, or something you're aware of?
I think it all is tied to the working out. And like I'm a little bit lucky too that I haven't had many injuries, and so as you get older, you get an injury, it really can set you back, and you can start looking like an old man really quick.
I do know.
Yeah, but like the workout for me if you do it right, it can help you. Like I feel like again feel better, but you can go the wrong way and like hurt your knees, hurt your back in doing it. So for me, I've been really lucky. Like I said, my body's not hurting. I mean, I remember back in the day when I was working with Henry and trying to deal with some SI joint stuff, I had to take a lot of like ibuprofen, Celebrex, and stuff like that just to feel good. And I don't need to do that anymore. It's been incredible. Wow. So I'm knock on wood a little bit, but I work out a lot. Like it's 6 days a week, and I feel like I'm still getting better in golf, and that's giving me the chance to get better, right? Like I said, not really tied to the score, but it's tied to the longevity and your ability, because you have to hit the ball a certain distance, and you have to feel pretty good. You can't be giving up strokes based on you can't move very well or whatever like that. At the highest level, you got to be elite at everything. So it gives me a chance to keep working and getting better. And so I think there's a little luck tied to it too, and a little bit obviously genetics, but I do mainly like the mental side of it. It's just, even if you're not a golfer, like working out and eating right is great. Although I did have In-N-Out last night, so I'm not always good.
Cheat day.
Cheat day. Tell us about your workout regime. What's included in a week for Joe Summerhays?
Yeah, I actually do mainly just standard weightlifting. I do, let's say on a Monday, I'll go in there and work my upper body. I'll work my legs the next day, and I'll work my back and biceps and triceps the next day. And I'll just do a range of different things. They're not like heavy lifting things, but I am getting stronger that way. I'm pushing myself a little bit. It's more maintenance at this point, but like I say, when I do those workouts, I'm not trying to set records. I'm trying to not get injured.
No, that's also, exactly right. I will ask you one thing. So when you say lower body, what exercises or what kind of routine are you doing? That'd be interesting.
My favorite one's a Bulgarian split squat, which is a really hard leg exercise, but it's really given me a lot of strength and a lot of flexibility. So I do that, 3 times a week. And then that's like my staple. And then I do an RDL, which is basically, working on my backside, my
RDL, what is that?
Explain.
Romanian deadlift.
Oh, I've heard of that. Okay, I'm sorry for the interruption. I wanted to know what you were talking about.
And then I'll do some squats sometimes, but again, I won't go heavy. I like doing the squats just because when I get on the deep range there, it helps with my flexibility. So I won't just go heavy though. Yeah, won't go heavy, but those 3, and then I do other ones just based on if I get bored, I want to try to do some different ones. But I'm doing all types of. I still do the wall sit. That was one my dad did. Sure. I do that a lot, and lunges and things like that. And my knees, I really protect them. And since I've been working out my legs, I haven't always worked out my legs like this. I feel like that's been the biggest difference. And I'll do core. I do core 5 days a week.
Sure.
And I've been really working hard. So I feel like once I got my legs and and my core. Like, it's really, really, really helped my knees, everything. Like, I think that's been the difference in my workout.
And the legs
would
have.
That sound,
Excuse
yeah.
me. Yeah,
Would
I
that
think
be right, Henry?
I think the legs. I think you're exactly right. That's where your SI problems, the sacroiliac problems, came from.
No.
You know, the imbalance there, and I think you're doing the right things now. You know, where you can golf pretty much as you like. Because you're strong.
Henry, you were really nodding and reacting to what Joe was saying about keeping his weightlifting light. Joe said not trying to set records. Talk to us about that. About
I think when you're, and you tell me, Joe, but I think when you're trying to push it, that's when you get in trouble. I ask people, now you're exercising so you'll feel better, aren't you? You know what I mean? And because they're competitive. I can do more. And I think, like you said, go up and down, but and also key, you're going 6 days a week. That's awesome. You're in a program, so it's not so much that that you've got to break it down to 3 times a week or something like that. You're doing something 6 days a week, and that is very powerful.
Great stuff. All right, Joe, thank you so much for joining us again. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish in Florida, but really appreciate this conversation about what you're doing with your fitness. This is really good stuff and inspirational to me. I respect it a great deal. It's good stuff.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you guys having me on. Have a great rest of the day.
Absolutely.
We'll talk to you later, Henry.
All righty.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Joe.
That is Joe Summerhays. Henry, Joe is a really good guy, but a remarkable example of the nexus, the interplay of high golf skill and really taking care of his body. And I've lost track of exactly how old he is, mid-50s, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I don't know, but he moves like he's 30, and that's not an easy or small thing to say.
I used to laugh. Bruce, his dad, used to say, "I have perfect feet."
Okay, that's good.
You were talking about genetics.
Yeah,
And
That's funny.
I never really. He did have good feet, but it was like I have perfect feet.
okay.
So Joe got his good genetics.
That is good. That is good. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to introduce to you a new sponsor on the show. This will be kind of fun. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by the T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Yeah. Utah Golf Radio coming back at you from the mothership, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee. We are powered by the T-Box. Jan, we were just talking about the interplay between good golf and good fitness. The T-Box has cracked the code on that, and it is such a pleasure and an honor to be partnered with the T-Box this year here at Utah Golf Radio. There are T-Boxes around the state. They're in St. George, but also mostly in northern Utah. They're expanding into the Salt Lake Valley later this year. You got to check out the T-Box for this intersection of golf training and fitness training. Like I say, the T-Box has cracked the code on that.
What you probably should know is T-Box has an offer called 30 for 30. You can spend $30 and you get 30 days worth of all access T-Box.
That beats a poke in the eye.
$30 for 30 days. That they give you that so that you can try it out, and they know you're going to love it, and you're going to want to become a T-Box member.
Check them out. They have the coolest URL going, tbx.golf. That's where you can go check out their website, tbx.golf for the T-Box. Jan, we are so happy and grateful to welcome to the show a new sponsor of our Things and Stuff segment for 2025, and that would be Uinta Golf. Now, let me just pause for a moment and say, is there anybody out there who doesn't know about Uinta Golf? No, we all know Uinta Golf.
I think we're taught that when we first start golfing. When you say, where do you get stuff, people say Uinta
Golf.
Yeah.
It is a Utah company. It is a Utah legacy company. 5 stores around the state, and one of the things I really like about them is that they're kind of in my pathway. Both there's a store down, not downtown. I shouldn't say downtown. It's in Sugar House, 21st South, and then one in the South Valley on State Street, and about, I'm going to say 110th.
Yeah, 109th.
109th. Okay, on that stretch,
enough,
stretch there on State Street. But in Riverdale, up in the Ogden area, in Orem, and in St. George.
I can honestly tell you I have been to every Uinta Golf in our
have
state.
I.
And that's the funny thing is there seems to be a Uinta by the golf course that you forgot something at. That's what they should call it. We're by the golf course that you forgot something at, and you need to go to Uinta.
Exactly. No, it's funny you'd say that. My many experiences at Uinta Golf, you mentioned that. I was in St. George. And something didn't get in the car that I needed for what I was doing down there.
And conveniently, there was a Uinta Golf.
Bam. Go to Uinta Golf. They connect me with what I need. I'm in, I'm out, I'm on my way. Yeah. And so Uinta Golf will be presenting our Things and Stuff here for the coming year. And we'll be
talking about things and stuff at
We'll
Uinta.
be talking about things and stuff at Uinta, and joined by people from Uinta who are talking about things and stuff at Uinta. So check them out.
Go ahead. Sorry, I just got excited.
No, be excited.
I think we're gonna give away some gift cards too during the year.
Yes, we will. And that is something that you got to be checking out as well. So very, very cool. Check them out. Uinta Golf. We know you know them. We know you've been there. We know you're going again. We're gonna help you. You know these guys. All right. We got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, it is JetX Jug season.
I can't believe it's
time.
here again.
It's time. We're going to fire up the JetX Jug. We're going to welcome our good friend Rob Bolton from PJTour.com. And we're going to fire up the JetX Jug when we come back on the other side. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by the T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. It is 9 o'clock on a Saturday. That means Utah Golf Radio coming at you from the mothership. We're in the beautiful downtown studios of ESPN 700, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah, in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. We are powered by the T-Box. So grateful to be associated with the T-Box this year and excited for what that's going to mean for the show and for our games as well, Jan, as we take advantage of the way the T-Box has successfully connected and married physical training with golf training. It is a unique and I think very powerful model they've come up with at the T-Box. We are powered by the T-Box here at Utah Golf Radio. This second hour of the show is presented by Mountain Land Power Equipment. Check them out at mountainlandpowerequipment.com. And I hate to say it, but it's snowing outside.
So you need yourself a Structron shovel, snow shovel, push shovel.
Say that fast.
I know, it's so hard. Structron. Anyway, get yourself a Structron snow shovel from Mountain Land Power Equipment. And you can go to mountainlandpowerequipment.com and you get yourself a Mountain Land gift certificate when you purchase Structron.
Fun for that.
Push shovel.
It is time to fire up the JetX Jug for 2025. JetX Jug presented by our good friends at First Utah Bank. Jan at First Tee, we do our banking at First Utah Bank, and so talk to them a lot. I got to tell you, unfailingly professional, efficient, kind. Love doing my banking at First Utah Bank. Check them out at firstutahbank.com, and they are bringing us the JetX Jug, and you know what we do each year to start off the JetX Jug, Jan.
Yes, I do. I know exactly what we do.
We welcome our good friend from PGAtour.com, Rob Bolton. Rob, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Paul. Good morning, Jan. Great to hear your voices. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I heard you saying that it was snowing up there in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
I will not tell my son, who has since graduated from the University of Utah. It was one of his favorite things about being an undergrad up there, that it is snowing. So when he wakes up, I simply will not tell him that it is snowing, and then when I tell him, I'll wait for his reaction. I can't wait.
That is great.
Yes.
So he's graduated. What's he doing now?
Well, if you're hiring, I'll tell you.
Okay. There we
what
go.
he's doing right now.
Okay, fair
He's
enough.
figured it out. Let's leave it at that. Yeah.
Fair enough. And are you home this week down in the Phoenix Scottsdale area?
I am, yes.
Okay, so nobody likes you, Rob.
Right, I know. Yeah, you talk about snow shovels, Jan. I forget what that is. I left it in Illinois when I moved.
Oh. All right. I feel you. I do. Rob, let's start by catching up with you and what you're doing running the fantasy games at PGAtour.com. And I'm kind of interested in how the changes on the tour and the qualifications for the tour are affecting what's happening in the fantasy games at PGAtour.com.
Yeah, so am I. It's it's going to be one of those it's going to be one of those seasons where we should see, and this has been sort of an underlying or a subtext to what's happening with respect to membership in the last couple of years. Not only with playing opportunities overall, but sort of this nitty-gritty with the rank and file, because this season, the new target to retain fully exempt status no longer is the top 125. It's the top 100 in the FedEx Cup, and they'll shake out some things in other ways. Fewer Korn Ferry Tour grads, that sort of thing. And we've sort of seen this coming. So guys maybe just outside the elite have been playing a little bit more on average. And so that has been limiting some of the playing time for the guys who have fully exempt status, but toward the bottom of the barrel, so to speak. There's still opportunities to improve during the season. There always have been, and it truly is more of a meritocracy than maybe it was just 5 years ago because of these changes. But that's the biggie. Some of the guys who you like, the Farmers Field or the field for the American Express, stronger than usual, despite some of the narratives you're hearing out there. It's just stronger from the middle. Some of the guys that normally don't play, like Justin Thomas, is there this week. And obviously he's one of the elite, but it trickles down to some of the other players, and the Farmers is going to showcase some of the similar things. They're always a strong field, but it'll go from there. So you have the signature events that are drawing the top 50 from 2024, and they're going to have other guys trying to play it, into the other signature events. But because the top 100 now are exempt and not the top 125, guys who are not already fully exempt for next year, like winners, guys who finished in the top 30 of the FedEx Cup 2024, they're already exempt. But that leaves out a lot of other guys, and so they will be playing more if they don't get off to a hot start and maybe can kind of build a bit of a cushion. So overall, you may not necessarily see as much of the elite, measurably speaking, or on par with some of the more of the rank and file. But that's going to be the narrative. Some of the guys at the bottom of the Korn Ferry Tour graduating class type of thing, they may have some struggles in the first 3 months, especially until fields expand in earnest and get more playing time.
Has PGA Tour University in the past the tour created for college players to come out and play at the very top on the PGA Tour, but also on the Korn Ferry? Has that affected the fantasy game?
Actually, it's improved it. Yeah, I would say that, and really not just the fantasy game on the website, but in all formats, where we're looking ahead now to a guy like Gordon Sargent, who will be graduating this spring, and he'll be a PGA Tour member in early June. We're already looking at David Ford, who's playing very well on the DP World Tour right now this weekend. Who is currently number one in PGA Tour University. Michael Thorbjornsen, who was number one last year, just beat out Crystal Lamprecht, who's now on the Korn Ferry Tour. I mean, typically, when you're an avid gamer like I am, guys, I mean, these guys are already on the radar. They're not necessarily, close to the center, but they're on it somewhere. Now they're closer to the center. So for fantasy game on the PGA Tour website, it's not going to matter yet just because of the format. But yes, in the long term, and I will say for the JetX Jug, a guy like Gordon Sargent could be a really sneaky play, because the chances of him finishing inside the top 100 of the FedEx Cup, despite the fact that he won't be actually collecting points until June, actually isn't that outlandish. That's a smart, shrewd play if you wanted to kind of come in an angular way. Michael Thorbjornsen did not finish in the top 100 last year. He made a good run of it, but he's the comp. And Ludwig Oberg, who obviously had an incredible 2023, we're looking for Sargent to finish maybe somewhere in between those two guys this year. Playing time won't be a problem. It's just a matter of getting off to a hot start and trying to build. But he'll be facing some of those higher walls that I was mentioning earlier, with some of the rank and file, the current members, getting such a big head start and probably playing more in the meantime. Interesting
stuff. All right. You mentioned picking JetX players. Let's talk for a minute about the JetX Jug, the backdoor fantasy game we play here at Utah Golf Radio. But let's start off, Rob, with some theme music. The JetX Jug, as we noted, brought to us by our good friends at First Utah Bank. The JetX Jug, the backdoor fantasy game we play here at Utah Golf Radio, where we are identifying the three players who will barely keep their cards come the end of the FedEx season. We're looking for the players who will finish barely inside the top 100. Ideally, a perfect JetX team would be number 100, number 99, and number 98. Good luck with that. But we're looking for players who will just barely make it in to the top 100. You get a point for every position they finish in the FedEx Cup standings, up to and including number 100. But starting at number 101 and beyond, you get no points. So, Rob, are you ready to tell us who your team will be this year?
Yeah, man. First of all, my day is now complete now hearing the theme song. Thank you very much. I can go now.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, with respect to this year's format, and because the PGA Tour and its playing time has modified a little bit in recent years, the strategy for the JetX Jug has had to adapt to it a little bit as well. At least for the people that really dive into it like I do. So I want players who have fully exempt status, not rookies, not guys who are. I mean, rookies finishing inside the top 100 in any year, no matter that the 125 or whatever the case is, that's already an impressive year. But you can't count on that. I'm not that aggressive a player, so I want fully exempt players, guys with experience, and guys who are not, because of this format, who are not automatically exempt in any of the signature events right now. Those are guaranteed FedEx Cup points. That's grease in the palm right there. So, with that said, Keith Mitchell is my first pick. Tee to green warrior. He'll be fine finishing in the top 100. He's an automatic. Has only one win on the PGA Tour somehow. And he's been just outside the bubble of getting into the signature events for like a couple of years now. I wouldn't say by any means that's not a knock on him, but he's perfect for your format. So Keith Mitchell's my first pick. Emiliano Grillo, a couple-time winner on the PGA Tour. He's solid in the long term. He's very streaky, but he always figures it out. He's finds a groove to be comfortable enough to retain his card. And in 9 seasons on the PGA Tour, he's finished inside the top 100 9 times. So if you wanted a guaranteed pick for a guy who's not in the signature events, he's in the sweet spot there. And with my third pick, I was going to go with Patrick Rogers, who's like who could be the poster boy for the JetX Jug.
He might be.
However, he's in the first 2. He's in the next 2 signature events. I don't like that. I'm going to be a little more aggressive, and I'm going to pick a guy who's actually currently contending at the American Express with 2 rounds to go, and that's Doug Gim.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
finished inside the top 100 last year, non-winner on the PGA Tour. He's part of that rank and file. He's a horse for courses, so he's not going to be contending every week. He stays really busy, which we love. And a couple of years ago, when the pandemic hit and eligibility was adjusted to accommodate players at that time, he was not going to be retaining his card, but he did because of that, and he's retained it since. He's getting a little bit better. University of Texas guy, again, horse for a course who we like, who's just good enough to stay inside that top 100. So Mitchell, Grillo, and Gim. There's my 3.
I like it. I like it a lot, and I like the thoughts behind them. Jan, you ready to announce your team?
Yes. Rob's team is very. I mean, wow.
Rob's the best there is at what he does. So.
I feel like mine's like kindergarten worth. We just got the college essay version. Okay. I'm going with players that I feel like I have a thing with, a connection with.
Are these your crushes?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
They're just a thread.
A thread.
Okay.
All right.
So Adam Scott, because that is my crush. So.
I saw.
And
you had
Adam also finished very, very well and was a good points getter last year.
True.
And Maverick McNeely, same reason. He's a good points getter last year. And my cat's name's Maverick, so
there we go. Okay.
And then I am fluctuating between Matt McCarty and Patrick Fishburne. I'm struggling on both because they're essentially the same as far as this is their going into their second year. But Matt does have a win under his belt, and he has a tough win. Yeah, he had a tough win at Black Desert. So, I just think Patrick's going to. I don't think Patrick's going to have a problem finishing. I think he'll finish a lot higher. I think than 100. So, I'm kind of torn between Fish and McCarty.
Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to think about that. Actually, I want to get Rob's thoughts on Patrick Fishburne. Of course, he's one of our local kids here. We've watched him through junior golf, college golf, the Canadian Tour, the Corn Ferry. Now he's in his second year, and he already has a top 10 at the Sony. He finished 86th last year, if I recall correctly. What are your thoughts on Patrick Fishburne, Rob?
Yeah, I love the Utah connection, number one. That never hurts. And hearts over heads in fantasy formats, that's one way to go, Jan. But obviously Scott and McNeely are terrific. But getting to Fishburne, I love this guy. He looks like he knows what he's doing. He's comfortable in his own skin. He has all the experience he needs. By the way, he led the PGA Tour in greens and regulations.
Yes.
As a
Yes.
PGA Tour rookie last year.
Yes.
Crazy good stuff. And look, okay, you can do that, but you still need to sink the putts, right?
Mhm.
And he did some of that too. He got really hot in the second half. Love the pick. He was high in my full membership fantasy ranking entering this season as a sophomore. Do not expect a slump. Expect a surge. Love the pick. He may almost finish too good for you, though.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my only
Yeah.
concern is he might finish too well. That's exactly my concern. Is I don't know if he's gonna. I just think Matt might get more points, but I'm going with Fish.
Okay, fair enough. My team, I am too, and I'm going with totally a heart team here. These are all U-Pots. I'm going with Tony Finau, Zach Blair, and Patrick Fishburne.
Tony Finau's going to get you 5 points.
I know, but that's not the point. I want to cheer for Tony, and I'm going to do it anyway, so I may as well put him on my team.
All right.
And for Zach, I'm interested in your thoughts, Rob, on Zach, because what I'm doing here with Zach is cheering for him to make the top 100. And, of course, he's coming off a season where he did the most remarkably improbable thing, finishing number 126 for the second dang time in his career. How in the world could that even happen?
Yeah. I tell you what, and it's only a fractions of points, right, over the course of a long year, and that's what it looks like. He'll get plenty of. He's playing this week. He's playing this weekend.
Yeah.
He didn't start out all that great, but the fact that he got into the American Express, given his status, he's the first man right out of the conditional status category, as you mentioned, Paul. It's going to be tough for him, especially early. But you know, he might. I mean, he probably. It's hard to figure out when he's going to play next. Probably won't be till Mexico, honestly, depending on sponsoring exemptions and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, Finau. If you ever wanted to win the JetX Jug and have Finau on a team, if you ever wanted to root for somebody to get injured, that would be the case. Because he's going to finish 5th or higher in the FedEx.
I know. I just can't not do it.
I know you.
I know. I love it. You know me. But Blair, Blair is, it's going to be difficult. But he's the perfect mix of a guy that you want to root for, a guy that you have that personal connection to locally, and a guy who's going to really have to play well to get it done. So it would be a magical season and a really good feel at the end of it for you.
Yeah, very good. All right. So Rob Bolton's team again: Keith Mitchell, Emiliano Grillo, and Doug Gim. Love your team. Love your thinking, and so appreciate you joining us. Thank you so much for following what we do here at Utah Golf Radio and supporting the JetX Jug. It really matters to us. Thank you very much, Rob.
You got it, guys. Always my pleasure. Thanks again. Take
All
care.
right.
Thanks, Rob.
Bye. That's Rob Bolton from PGAtour.com. He runs the fantasy pages on PGAtour.com, and he knows what the devil he's talking about.
He loves him some JetX Jug.
Loves the JetX Jug. That's fun. All right, Jan, we need to talk about somebody who needs some relief. Give me some relief. I need some relief. Brought to us by Farmer and Chemist. Farmer and Chemist, the finest CBD products you can want. They're at farmerandchemist.com with store in downtown Midvale. Check them out, Farmer and Chemist. And I'll tell you who needs some relief. This poor guy, William Mao. We know him from when he played at Pepperdine and he would come up to the Riverside Classic. William Mao made a 13. You heard that right. A 13 on hole number 16 at the stadium course.
I think they
down in
just
the
keep
Amex.
showing it over and over.
Well,
and
how
over
can
again.
you? I mean, it is a train wreck, and you are watching a train wreck, and you can't look away. As he hit it in that deep bunker left of the green on number 16, and you're down there 20, 25 feet below the surface of the green. A really well struck ball out of that is in its flight pattern. It's going flat when it hits the green. Goes over the green, then chips back. The green is hard and firm, and there's a false left edge on it. He just goes bunker, over the green, bunker, over the green, back and forth, over the green. Finally, he hits out sideways. Then he hits it over the green again. Then he gets back, and you add it all up, and it was 13. It was painful. William Mao needs some relief.
What do you do in the gallery? I mean, you're just like,
You're just hoping he can somehow.
and it's funny because you can feel you can feel what he feels because you've been there. I mean, not 13,
know.
but,
Well,
but
yeah,
you know
but
what I'm
I
saying.
have,
But
yeah.
you know when a hole has gotten away from you,
Yes.
and you
Yes,
but
I
you
do.
refuse to pick up your ball because you're going to finish this hole.
Well, you're in a tournament. You don't pick it up.
You finish this.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is I can't imagine being in the gallery how painful that would be to
It was
watch.
everybody.
Oh.
The poor caddy too. He had to rake like 6 spots in the bunker.
Gosh.
All right, let's talk about somebody on a sizz. On a sizz, brought to us by Next Level Golf. Check them out at nextlevelgolf.com, an indoor facility up in the foothills, southern part of the valley. Cottonwood, yeah. Next Level Golf. And I'll tell you who's on a sizz. There was lots we could pick, but there was only one moment this week, just one.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods walking into the TGL.
Okay.
That's all. Just the walk in. He played like crap. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
No.
They did not announce his name. They did not introduce him. They just played Eye of the Tiger, and Tiger walks in. He needs no introduction. And he walks in. Everybody's going berserk, and he's just sitting there thinking, yep, 15 majors.
I know.
83 wins.
I know.
Yep, I'm Tiger. You're not.
All
he had to do was walk in, and he was on a sizz.
Oh
because
my gosh! Yeah.
it is Tiger's world. He's Tiger.
When
we're
you
not.
Need no introduction.
We need no introduction. Tiger Woods walking in on a sizz.
Wait a minute. What's your walk-up song?
Oh,
Can we think about that?
Yeah, we're gonna have to come back to that.
Okay, end of the show.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're gonna get you up to speed with what Peter Kim's been doing. Good land, this guy's playing some golf. All right, Peter Kim on the other side. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by the T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Yeah. Utah Golf Radio coming back at you from the mothership in the beautiful downtown studios of ESPN 700. We are powered by the T-Box, coming to you in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. This second hour of the show is presented by Mountain Land Supply. Check them out at mountainlandsupply.com for all your supply needs for your business or your home. Mountain Land Supply will get the job done for you. Jan, Peter Kim has been tearing it up. He has won the first two tournaments on the Utah Golf Association PPR points tournaments in the Southern Swing down in southern Utah, down in the St. George area to start the season. He won the Coral Canyon Am by 4. He won the St. George Am the next week by 2. And in the St. George Am in particular, it was a really deep, really good field. And he was superlative. He was flawless. 36 holes of a clean card, 13 birdies, no bogeys, 13 under par. Brock Porter finished second in this event, and Brock Porter played great. He threw down 3 eagles over the course of the tournament. He threw 2 eagles at Peter Kim in the final round when they were paired together, and didn't matter. Peter Kim rock steady, flawless, and over the first 2 tournaments that Kim played in, over the first 72 holes, as we mentioned earlier in the show, he is 23 under par with just one bogey in 72 holes. It is really, really good stuff. And it is Peter Kim has just been
Hopefully
so strong.
it's just a taste of what we'll be seeing all year long,
Well,
especially with him down at BYU, right?
Yeah, he certainly is a sophomore at Brigham Young University. And, he won the Provo Open as an amateur this last summer. And so this is not a big surprise, and he's been a contributor at BYU, but it is still eye-catching. We did a podcast, of course, for both the Coral Canyon Am and the St. George Am. You can check those out wherever you get your podcast. Just do a quick little search on Utah Golf Radio, and the podcast will come right up. You can check it out there for more detail and more in-depth coverage on it. But we're going to run the tape for you now of our conversation with Peter Kim following his win in the St. George Am. Here is Peter Kim.
we both two-putted. And 17, we both ended up making par. We didn't really have any. I didn't have a look. He actually did have a look. He had about a 10-footer. He hit a really nice shot in there again, but ended up missing that putt. I think that would have gotten him some momentum. But 18, we both hit up there to 15 feet-ish and ended up making par.
Nice. It was all good for a 2-shot win over Brock Porter, as we noted, the current Southern Utah Open champ. But let's take a minute and look at this leaderboard, who were all staring up at you. We had, as we noted, Brock Porter, but Zach Phelps, Dan Horner, Jackson Moss, Derek Penman. I'm skipping around here a little bit. Austin Shelley, Jack Summerhays, Ashton MacArthur, Jackson Shelley, KJ Ofahengawa, Tyson Shelley. This is a good field and a good leaderboard, and nobody could keep pace with you. Does that matter to you, looking at the strength of the field here?
Yeah, I would say so. I think definitely the field always matters, but coming off the winter, I think a lot of guys are a little bit rusty. But still, yeah, it was a good win. It was a good field, a lot of good players. I think I just was a lot less rusty than some of the guys there.
Absolutely. Well, and we talked about it last week, things you did over the winter. Very definitely paid off, and it's showing it. Congratulations, man. Really nice win.
Thank you.
Jan, this is a really nice young man, and boy howdy, he's got a lot of game. It is no surprise to see him doing what he's doing, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And beating the fields he's beat, and the way he's beat them, and with the clean cards especially, incredibly eye-catching. I'm curious.
Where was he practicing? Because, I mean, how do you come into the first 2 tournaments of the season that seasoned? I mean, maybe there's a little luck, but I don't think that luck had anything to do with it when you look at those numbers. I mean,
well, he mentioned that he was using the practice facility that Brigham Young University has on the north end of the range at Fox Hollow.
Okay,
that's an indoor facility with big roll-up doors that allow them to be indoors where it's heated and then hit balls out and watch the flight of the ball. Plus, it's TrackMan powered as well, and so they're getting good data. And there's an indoor green facility there, similar to what the University of Utah has in the Layton Center up on campus. And these facilities, in the college game, seriously now, if you don't have them, you're not going to be able to recruit the players you need. But this Peter Kim, Skyline High, local kid, I think he is showing signs of becoming the real deal, and it is really something to see.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch.
Fun indeed, really, really interesting stuff. He's not playing this week.
Okay.
In the Sky Mountain, but what am I?
Okay.
Where is that? Hurricane. In the Hurricane City Am. We should note that Derek Penman is leading the Hurricane City Am right now, and we'll of course have a podcast report for you on that later. So after the first round, Derek Penman had a great round, made 10 birdies, shot a -8, 64, good for a 4-shot lead going into the second round. In the championship flight, one of the fun things about the Hurricane City Am is that they also have a number of different divisions in the senior division. And then they have a women's division, and the women's division is being led by Jane Olsen
from UVU.
No,
not UVU. Utah Tech.
Utah Tech. Yeah. So Jane Olsen.
And we know Jane.
Yeah, we know Jane. She made a deep run in the state am last year. The senior flight being led by our friend Brent Hess from
Smash Factor.
Smash Factor 1150. And we'll be back there again next week.
Yes,
but Brett
we will.
Hess is leading in the senior division. In the super senior division, Steve Smith is leading after round one. And then, as we mentioned, Jane Olson in the women's flight. They will conclude play today. And it's been pretty nice weather down there for them. And so that's kind of nice. All right. But the story of the year so far in the Southern Swing, the story of the year so far in what we're seeing from players in the PPR events going into the early part of the year is Peter Kim. Peter Kim is the story that's going on so far this year. Kind of raises a question, though, Jan.
What's that?
What's next?
Well, you know what's next.
I do. I know what's next. It's the What's Next segment brought to us by our good friends at the Utah Golf Association. Stick around on the other side. We'll tell you what's coming up next in Utah Golf. This is Utah Golf Radio, powered by the T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Yeah. Utah Golf Radio, powered by the T-Box, putting a wrap on a good show. Jan, there was a lot going on the show today.
Probably my favorite thing is kicking off JetX.
I love kicking off
Yeah.
JetX. It is fun to talk to Rob
Yeah,
Bolton.
I love that.
You know, Rob is this wonderful combination of knowledge and passion, and he really knows his stuff. Holy cow! You get him, drop a quarter in him, get him going on all the reasons why the different things are, the different players are doing what they're doing, and you realize, holy, this guy knows it all.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's fun that the JetX jug has resonated with him. Folks, you can play the JetX jug for free. Go to utahgolfradio.com, and it's self-explanatory from there. You just click on the stuff that says JetX jug, and you can enter for free. You get an entry for
every
email that you want. So if you have more than one email address, you want to enter more than one team, you can totally do that. utahgolfradio.com, click on JetX Jug, the backdoor fantasy game here, presented by First Utah Bank. And it's where we're trying to identify the 3 players who will barely keep their tour cards, the top 100 players, come the end of the FedEx season, the JetX Jug. Check it out on our website at utahgolfradio.com. The Southern Swing continues. We're talking about what's next here, presented by the Utah Golf Association. The Southern Swing continues with the Hurricane City Am. That is happening this week. Derek Penman goes into the second round with a 4-shot lead after 18 holes. That's pretty eye-catching. We will have a podcast report for you on that. So check out that. You can also make sure you're following Randy Dodson's and Kurt Craigthorpe's social media. That and Fairways Media social media, Fairways Magazine. That's where you will get the updates, the immediate reports. That's where you'll get the breaking news that you want to know, that you need to know about Utah golf. Make sure you're following social media, especially the Instagram and the Twitter, the X, for Randy Dodson and Kurt Craigthorpe, Fairways Magazine. That's where you'll keep track of what's happening there, so check that out. Next week we'll be at the Smash Factor for the First Tee Ace Frenzy in the indoor hole-in-one contest that we're doing there. That'll be an awfully lot of fun. And look, folks, if your calendar is not marked for 9 a.m. March 18th, which is when the registration period opens for Utah Golf Association Championships, you're going to end up on a wait list, and you're not going to want to do that.
And we always tell you, starting in January, this date that looms in March.
Yeah.
And we do tell you. We tell you every single show. And we will continue to tell you every single show. But don't say we didn't tell you.
March 18th, 9 a.m. is when UGA Championship registration opens up. That includes qualifiers for the State Am, 11 of them again this year. They're all on the website, uga.com. So figuring out what works on your schedule or which course you want to play, whatever it is that floats your boat there. But you got to get registered, and you're going to have to do it early. You're going to have to do it on the 18th of March because we know these things will fill up. March 18th, 9 o'clock for the UGA Championship registrations. The Sand Hollow Senior Am and the Sand Hollow Am are coming up in 2 weeks. There's a week off on the PPR schedule down in the Southern Swing after this weekend's Hurricane City Am. Then next up is the Sand Hollow Am. And then, Jan, T-Box memberships are on sale right now, an introductory membership. Tell us about the 30 for 30. Okay.
Yeah, so you get 30 days of T-Box access to the facility, to the bays, to the fitness equipment. You get that for $30, 30 days for $30. And then you can make a decision if you're going to commit to getting well and making your golf game better.
There you go. Check them out at tbx.golf.
I know you love saying it. I'm just going to let you say it.
I love that URL. I think
it's fantastic.
I think it's the coolest
I wish
URL
it was my
there
email
is.
too.
Yeah, really, right? tbx.golf for the T-Box. Want to really thank Henry White for coming in with us today. Holy cow, Henry is a rare individual. I love the guy. He is a good friend. We play golf together. He's fun to play with. It's fun to watch play golf because he's stupid good. But what a great man, Henry White, and knows his stuff. Joe Summer Hayes, thanks for joining us. And we mentioned Rob Bolton. So much going on the show. We had the tape with Peter Kim. We want to thank all of you for listening. Thank you for joining us today and being a part here of Utah Golf Radio, powered by the T-Box. Thank you for being with us today. So with thanks to everybody who's been on the show and everybody who's been with us. Olivia Benyon, our producer, keeps it going. My beautiful wife Brooke is in the she's in the production booth this week today because we're going to run to the airport and catch a plane.
I love it.
Jan,
you're my favorite couple. You're spontaneous and you do fun things.
I like Brooke.
Yes, well,
So
you
there's
guys are
that.
fun. You guys are awesome.
All right, we got to roll on out of here. Thank you all for listening today. This is Paul Pugmire saying, don't jab it like Jan.
Jan Brownstein reminding you to please chug it. Do not pug it.
That is good advice. Remember to replace your divots and fix your ball marks. This is Utah Golf Radio, powered by the T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network.